Jim Norton is not a doctor. He's not an expert. He's not even a good person. The views, opinions, advice, and humor of Jim Norton does not reflect those of any doctor, of SiriusXM, of Opie Radio, or anyone else. They are solely those of Jim Norton, Lyle Chipperson, Edgar Mellencamp, Paul Hargis, and whoever else lives in that chinless head of his. If any of this advice goes wrong, you are the asshole who called a comedian instead of a doctor.
An icon in comedy, a fighter for freedoms, an accomplished entertainer, and a pervert. You've got problems, he's got problems. You've got questions, he's got answers, some of which are good. Call now, 866-WOW-1-WOW. That's 866-969-1969. This is the Jim Norton Show.
Once again live. It's nice to be back. Last week I was in Las Vegas, and Don had told me before that there would be no advice show because we had the whole pre-programmed week for the channel, so there would be nothing for me to do. So I went out to Las Vegas last week to do, I'm doing that podcast with Matt Serra, UFC Unfiltered, so we were going out there to do a couple of live events. One was supposed to be on the Wednesday night, and then we were doing a live one on Sunday, which was released on Monday. And it was just crazy when we got out there, because it was a really, really fun trip, but everything kind of went wrong as far as, the plans we had. Our Bruce Buffer was our guest. He hurt his ACL. We covered all this on with Opie in the morning. And then John Jones dropped out. So it was a whole thing, but it was still a really, really fun week and a fun week of fights. And I got to meet people. I really annoyed Justin Timberlake because did I tell this story in the morning? I don't know. My memory stinks. By the way, 866-969-1969 if you have any desire to call. And I wound up, he was there at the fight along with Tom Brady, but I remembered how much Tom Brady hated me when I met him. And I bugged him for a photo. So I said, let me just not annoy him again. And I bothered Justin. And we took a photo together. And it was relatively uncomfortable. He only did it because I'm Dana's friend, I think. Like, I heard that years ago, Dana and him had gotten into it publicly. Maybe it was a misunderstanding. But Justin thought that, Dana thought that Justin had blew his kids off for a photo. And maybe Justin didn't know they were his kids. So, years later, Dana's being interviewed. And somebody says to him, who's the biggest douche you ever met in entertainment? And he said, Justin. And I guess they talked after that, and Justin apologized, and they became good friends. You know how that works. You have a public spat, and then you realize, hey, we kind of like each other. And, you have a conversation. And we had a fun show this morning. Caitlin was on. I liked Paul Feig very much, but I really enjoyed Caitlin Farrington vomiting. Just for her, like the fact that even when I was drinking, I would very rarely, if ever, get that I'm going to puke. I always knew I was going to puke. I've said a fingers down the throat person. Obviously other things have gone down the throat as well. Come on, Jim, cut it out. And there's one point where she was going to puke, and she's holding one of those teeny water bottles, and she's trying to vomit into this teeny water bottle. And true professional that she is, she really didn't miss much. She got most of it into the garbage can. But somebody pointed out on Twitter what a hypocrite I am, because I did bash the remake of the Pink Panther and other movies. But then I'm like, why are people so mad about Ghostbusters? So I guess I get it. Maybe I was a hypocrite. It wasn't on purpose. It was just that I just wasn't thinking of those things. I was like, why does anybody give a fuck? But then I'm like, yeah, it did really annoy me when the Pink Panther got remade. So I guess I kind of get that. Barry in Minnesota. Hello, Barry.
Hey, Jimmy. I heard you talking this morning. I never caught the live show, but you're going to reschedule Minneapolis and then another one. Are you rescheduling Fargo, too?
I think Fargo and Oklahoma. I just don't know when. Minneapolis is and Pittsburgh are September 15th and 16th. And I don't know about Fargo and Oklahoma. I will know about them shortly because I'm still trying to work out other dates. So I can't reschedule them on a date that I might be going to Australia or might be doing that. There's like 10 other things that we're trying to do. and I'm trying to nail down a shoot date. So a lot of it is contingent on this other stuff. So I should have an answer for you guys shortly who are out there. And I apologize for not having an immediate answer for you.
Okay, that sounds great, man. We had some tickets for it, and then it got canceled, and I haven't heard you bring it up at all, so I just wanted to check and see.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to have an answer before I brought it up. You know what I mean? Like, I just didn't have an answer. I've gotten so many tweets and emails, and I appreciate all the people in Fargo who wanted to come out and listen to my drollery. So hopefully there will be a reschedule very soon, okay?
All right, thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Barry. By the way, I'm so hungry, I could puke right now. I was just talking about vomiting. I went and taped the podcast for tomorrow with Matt Serra today. It was really fun, man. We had a couple of really interesting fighters call in, and we had a very fun time talking. But I'm nauseous because I didn't have time to eat. So I came home, and I think I'm going to puke. And the first thing I did was take a disastrous shit. You know the type of shit, again, where you don't think you're going to make it? I was on 72nd Street looking for a taxi, and I'm like, I'm going to shit my pants. And I wound up making it home. Thank the good Lord. Hello, Anthony in California.
What's up, man?
How are you?
Hey, first off, I saw your shit on Twitter, and I was like, how do I listen to this blog?
What do you
really
mean?
have no idea.
What blog?
How do I listen? Not blog. What am I thinking? Your fucking podcast. How do I listen to it?
Oh, I guess you get it from iTunes or Spotify or any place you can get podcasts. I think even UFC.com you can go and hear it. But it's pretty easy to find. It's called Unfiltered.
Nice, because, I was listening to your shit, and I was like, I listened to Howard Stern on Sirius, and, I'm liking your show. I was listening to it while I was on hold, and I'm like, I want to listen to this.
Okay, well, thanks, man. I mean, I hope you like it.
But my real question is, so anyway, I have this girlfriend, long-time girlfriend, and, I'm always like, I want to fuck you in your ass. And she just keeps complaining that my dick is too big to put it in there. So I don't know what to tell her.
I would tell her to tell all her friends. Brag to all your friends that my dick is too big. It's a very tough sell. Well, how big is your dick? Do you have like an extraordinary large dick, or does she just have a small hiney?
My dick is probably about 10 feet long.
All right. Are you just being a dope?
In general. We generalize. From the taint back,
Now, is this a real problem, or are you just being a silly goose?
I'm just drunk as shit, and I'm just calling you because I saw you on Twitter, and that's it.
All right, fair enough. But, let's be honest, Anthony. This is a serious problem that should never be joked about. Fucking a girl on the hiney who has a small hiney, or you have a large penis, is very much a serious issue. We don't joke about that. All right, buddy, thanks for the call. But after we hang up, I will answer Anthony's question. What do you do if your dick's too big to fuck a girl in the ass? I had one girl who I dated, and she told me that her ex-boyfriend had fucked her in the ass. And I think that she might have gotten a hemorrhoid since then, or she had a tear in her ass, but she wouldn't let me do it. And it was I didn't even care about fucking her in the ass, but I was so angry that she wouldn't let me fuck her in the ass. So, it was on principle that I wanted to. And I made a big thing about it, but she never actually did let me do that, unfortunately. But, lick a girl's ass first, work in a finger. That's how you break her in if she's not used to it. Some girls are just nervous about their hiney. Let's see. Steve in New York. Hello.
Well, you big fan. I think you do a great job.
Hi, buddy. Thank you.
Good question. How could Misha Tate be so unprepared? Is that on her, the trainers? That should never have happened that fast.
Well, it's hard for me to tell, dude, because again, I've never trained, so it's harder for me to identify if somebody's unprepared or if mentally, who knows, man, or she may have just gotten caught out there, or maybe Amanda just fucking caught her with one good shot. Mike Tyson said everyone has a game plan till they get punched in the face. So maybe her trainers had her ready, and she got caught with one shot, and it just fucking sent her, into a bit of a loop, or maybe really hurt her, and she couldn't recover. I don't know if she was unprepared or not. I'd love to ask her, but I haven't interviewed her since.
Yeah, I can't believe this other one was that good. So I guess Ronda Rousey's going to be out of the picture for a while.
I don't know what the fuck's going on with her. Has anybody said?
Nope, nothing.
I don't know.
Nothing.
You know, it's funny, on the podcast today, I interviewed, me and Matt talked to Eddie Alvarez, who just won the lightweight championship from Rafael dos Anjos, which was a great fucking first round knockout. And we interviewed Joanna Jędrzejczyk, who's the strawweight champion, who might be my favorite person to watch now in UFC. So if you want to get that tomorrow morning. But she is a bad motherfucker, man.
Yeah, I was just wondering, maybe Ronda's really was hurt a lot more than they're saying.
You know, I don't know Ronda well enough. We've interviewed her. I've seen her at the fights once in a while. We've always said hello. She's very lovely. But something tells me that it's because I was sitting with Matt. We were in Vegas, and we're in the Hard Rock, and I saw a guy who looks like Travis Brown walking by with a little blonde. And I'm like, is that Ronda? But it didn't look like her because I just wasn't expecting to see her. And then I looked at Travis's tattoos, and I'm like, is that him? And then Matt goes, yeah, that's his trainer. Like, as they walked away, they didn't see us. We just recognized them. Matt recognized the trainer. So she's still around, and I was like wondering if she was pregnant or something, but she didn't look pregnant. She looked regular. So maybe it's just that it fucked her up mentally. I'm purely speculating. I don't know. Or maybe she was hurt, or maybe she's doing something else. I don't understand why she's not fighting. Who knows? Maybe she just wanted some time off too, you know?
Okay, thanks. Keep up the good work, man.
All right, buddy. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Hello, John in New Mexico. How are you?
Hey, Jimmy. How's it going, man?
Good. How are you?
Oh, not bad. Hey, great to hear your voice again. I went to see you in Albuquerque, and I noticed they had, like, some sound issues, and I was kind of disappointed because I'm a huge fan, and you've been here a couple of times. The shows have always been great. Your performance is always impeccable, but I didn't feel like the venue was up to par with what it should have been for you and Kelsey, man. It seemed like it was a little bit lacking in terms of production, and I was just wondering because there were some moments when I noticed, and I do stand-up comedy too, but there are some moments when I noticed that you were trying to get a feel for where to put the microphone as far as in terms of how close you wanted your voice to it, and it just seemed like I was kind of bummed out. It was still a great show, and you were awesome, man, but I was wondering if that was something that I completely imagined.
Thank you. You know, I actually loved that audience. I remember this. I had a little bit of feedback. I don't remember specifically not liking the sound, but I do remember a little bit of feedback. But that will happen once in a while in a club or a place you've never done before. That was like a rock club. So sometimes that happens, man, when a band, a place that's used to doing music does comedy. I don't remember it specifically enough. If you would have called me that week, I might have had a more of a fresh outlook on it, but I do so many gigs, and all of them have like a little sound tinge here and there. So I'm sorry if the sound wasn't up to par, though. It certainly wasn't intentional, and I don't know if I'll do that room again anyway. But I appreciate you coming to the show very much.
Oh, yeah, dude, you were fucking awesome. Another thing about that gig was it was the first time in Albuquerque that you did the meet and greet package. And me and my buddy were kind of wondering about that. Like, you're a huge star to us, my man. Like, you're fucking awesome. And we always kind of were surprised that you were able to do that, just hang out and shake everybody's hand. Like, you're there for a fucking hour and a half, dude. And you're, like, shaking everybody's hand. And people, when they get into larger groups, they can be kind of dumb and slow. And so you deal with all that because, these people came out to see you. And that's always been fucking awesome. And then this tour, it seemed like you kind of had to change that up a bit. We were wondering why that was. Was it your management? Was it a fact that that this would be bad, but that's another another way to make out fiscally or monetarily, which is not, there's nothing wrong with that. And then I heard you talking about it on the show, and you actually explained, which I thought people who were bashing you for not doing that anymore just don't understand how that shit works. But you explained that because of the venues and just, how long it takes you to sit there with every fan to, like, take a picture, and we usually get like 4 or 5 seconds to, just discuss our favorite tranny videos with you. And, like, you're really cool about that. And so we were kind of wondering how long you would be able to do that before someone would be like, hey, you can't do that anymore.
Well, you know what it was? I had always gotten complaints about it. But as time went on, I just got tired of hearing it. And it also, at times, dude, it really is exhausting. Like, you do an hour and 15 on stage. And a lot of times, the difference between this tour, too, which I've noticed, is I'm doing a different city every night. And part of this is I'm not used to flying in every day for a show. Like, there are times when we're driving, but there's been a lot of times where I fly in on a Thursday, do the show, next morning fly again, and then either that night have to drive 3.5 hours or fly at 6 the next morning. So the travel schedule became much more grueling on this tour as well. And the fact that like an hour and 15 when you're just hanging out in between comedy club shows doesn't really matter, or 45 minutes, whatever it is. But when you have to drive 4 hours, there was a couple of times with Kenny where I thought he was going to fall asleep behind the wheel. And I was too tired to drive. And it just got to be too much, dude. So with the venues bitching and moaning, yeah, there is a financial aspect for me, of course, but I make money selling merch too. Believe me when I tell you, it's not much of a difference. It's really not. It's just much less grueling. And I also do press once in a while now. If I have to do phoners that are at night, sometimes I knock them out while I'm waiting for Kenny to get the money. I hope that explains it, okay? I'm babbling.
Yes, sir. No, you're awesome. One more thing. I know you have other callers, but my other thing was, if you've looked into, there's this new book that came out. It's called The Unbroken Brain, and it's dealing with addiction and 12 steps. And in this book, the author makes the argument that some 12-step programs, by putting a moral tag on, addiction and seeking a higher power, that sometimes are counterproductive. And I tweeted you about it. I don't know if you got a chance to look at it because you get a bunch of shit, but The Unbroken Brain, I just think it would be interesting for you to take a look at. You might find it pretty interesting, sir.
Maybe, and they may have a great thing going there. But it's funny with the thing with 12-step programs with higher power. That's been a big one. The books that were written that became the inspiration for so many 12-step programs. I mean, they were conceptualized in 1935, 1936. It was very comfortable for people to say God and quote scripture. It was just a different time. As time has gone on, people were more comfortable with atheism and being an agnostic. But they do address atheists and agnostics, and non-believers are completely welcome. And the idea of a higher power can have zero deity meaning. Believe me, it was a sticking point for me too. Nobody's going to tell me. And I pray sometimes just for the ritual of it. But there's not one person I know who's sober who says you have to believe in a deity to be sober. All that's addressing is the ego of a fucking addict or alcoholic, saying that there is something bigger than you that can help you because alone you are really not doing well. And again, that bigger thing can be a group of people. So it can have zero implication of a deity. So I know that throws people, but don't let the idea of God or any religion keep you out, because they say it's God as we understand him. And as we understood him is put in parentheses, in italics to emphasize it. It's, prayed only for knowledge of God as we understood him. It's very important, as we understood him, meaning no one is going to tell you what your higher power is. So when people say, oh my God, it's a cult, they don't demand anything. You don't have to pay anything. You don't have to give your real name. You don't have to give your number. You don't have to show up. You don't have to make a pledge. You don't have to do a fucking thing. There are some suggested steps. You want to get better and have a good life? Take some suggestions. If you don't, be our guest to do as you please. So, it's a very, very relaxed group atmosphere. So I'm sure that the other program may have some merit to it. And hey, look, people, any 12-step groups I've ever gone to would always say anything else you hear, feel free, enjoy. We encourage you to go out and try them too.
Cool, very cool. Thank you so much, Jimmy. Yeah, they were arguing about, or just putting forth the notion that cognitive therapy and psychotherapy is a little bit more productive when used in conjunction with a 12-step, which they figure is kind of like a support group. But yeah, they were saying treating it as a moral issue is kind of what makes it difficult. Thank you so much.
But I don't think that, in all honesty, I would agree with you. I don't think they do treat it as a moral issue. Like, no one is saying you're a bad person. Morals would be that you're dirty. They say it's a spiritual problem, maybe meaning your spirit is fucked up, who you are deep down. But it's not about morals. It's not about you're an immoral person if you drink or drug. It's almost just the opposite. Like, you can be a very moral person, but be very sick. And you are, to do the things that people do when we drink is sick. It's not normal. It's not healthy behavior. When you're married with children and you're a pretty decent person And then when you drink, the police show up at your house because you threw a dish at your wife's fucking face.
Dinner was cold. What do you expect?
But no, I'm not saying that she didn't ask for it, sir. Please don't misquote. But you know what I'm saying? There's a major problem there that moral people are doing very fucked up things. So I don't think that they're calling you immoral. I think they're saying, look what this thing does to people who are basically good. I got to run, buddy, because we got a bunch of other people. But I do appreciate your call, man. Okay.
You're fucking awesome, Jimmy. I love you.
Oh, you're a sweet little boy. Thank you, pal. John in Boston. Hello. Hello.
Hey, Jimmy. How you doing?
Hey.
Look, I've got a thing I need to do next week. Axl Rose is going to be in Boston for 2 shows. I'll be at both of them. I figured out what hotel they're staying at. How do you go about getting a picture with someone if you see them? Is it something you jump right into, like, hey, I need a picture, or do you... Hi, how are you? Oh, by the way, how do you go about getting pictures with celebrities without looking like a fucking stalker?
Well, if you know what hotel he's going to be at, I can warn you of this. A lot of fans are going to know what hotel he's at. It won't be a secret. I don't know how fans find out where celebrities live or what their fucking hotels are, but fans do. Like, I've seen Ozzy and the boys in Sabbath at their hotel. Like, I've found out what hotels they stay at.
Yeah.
And you know how it is when you go to Ozzy's room. Oh, that's right. I'm his pal, so I know. But when you walk out, the hotels keep the people behind something. And there's like usually 15 or 20, 12 people with albums. And sometimes if Ozzy is running late, he'll run right into the car. Other times I've seen him stop and sign records if he's got time and he's coming back. But it's harder to get a picture because you have to know exactly when that person is moving. And when they're in and out of the hotel, they're usually moving very quickly because they're with
and they're
people.
Probably surrounded by bodyguards and shit.
Yeah, or their management, or their fucking girlfriends, or their kids. But usually, I've never seen Ozzy, comfortably strolling through. Usually, you're in and out. You're going to the door and into the car. So it might be hard to pull off. But you may catch him at the hotel bar or something. You never know. But that's a hard one to pull off, especially Axl, who seems a bit skittish, you know?
Now, let me ask you this, kid. What's like just hanging out at the hotel itself? Is there, from your perspective, are there rules and regulations about doing that?
Well, the hotels will ask you, can I help you, sir? If you're just lurking around, they know that celebrities are there. You know what I mean? Like, there's been times where I was doing something with Billy Morrison and Ozzy, and, I'm on the phone with Billy. I'm like, okay, buddy, I'm getting here. He goes, all right, mate, we'll be down in 2 minutes. So I'm not going up to the room because they're coming down. So I'm sitting in the lobby sometimes, having like 4 or 5 minutes. And, the guys look at you like, what are you doing here? But if you look like you belong somewhere, they won't just fuck with you. But if you're there for 20 minutes, they're probably going to go, what are you doing,
So would you suggest like a shirt and tie, suit and tie, and just kind of act like I belong?
That might be helpful. And have your camera ready in one hand. Don't be a bumbling jizz bucket. Like, don't pull your, hi, Axl, wait a minute, fumble, turn it on. But get it ready, and then go, Axl, man, can I take a quick selfie and have the camera almost ready? And then a lot of times they'll just lean in, you're done. Make it quick and respectful, and don't panic, and just say, I love your stuff, and let them go.
All right, I'll call you next week, let you know how it went.
Oh, no, here's what you ought to do. You ought to walk up and go, oh, my God, I love Welcome to the Jungle. Let me tell you a story about what it means to me.
Don't do that. Okay.
No. Goodbye. Josh in Charlotte, hello.
Hey, Jim, what's going on, buddy?
Hi, buddy.
Just want to start off by saying, man, I've seen you past a couple times in Charlotte, and it's been that of a show, so.
Thank you very much, Josh.
Yes, sir. Actually had a podcast suggestion. I wasn't sure if you've ever heard of it or not, but I was thinking about it the other day, just trying to think of some of my buddies or people I know would be interested for you just talked about.
Dude, we have to hang up, Josh, because your phone is cutting out. The podcast he's referring to is the Sword and Scales podcast. I can see it. I just wanted him to talk about it. But I apologize, buddy. Your phone's cutting out. To answer, have I ever heard of it? No. And I've never heard it. But, if I see it, I'll download it and listen. To be honest, I don't even listen to the podcast I do. I don't listen to any podcasts. I've heard a moment here and there. I've been on Rogan. I've checked it out on YouTube or whatever. But I've never heard an episode of Monday Morning Podcast. I just don't listen. I don't listen to the radio show I do. So To answer your question, I have not. I've been interviewed on The Nerdist 2 or 3 times. I've been on Kevin Smith's podcast. I've done Chael Sonnen's. I've done a bunch, and I have never once listened. And it's funny. People have been asking me, and I don't know if I've addressed this on the air. Maybe I did. If I did, I apologize. Because I'm doing this UFC podcast with Matt Serra, people keep asking me about Brian Callen and Brendan Schaub. And again, if I said this last week or the week before, forgive me for the redundancy. The fighter and the kid, they're like, dude, you ripping that show off. First of all, I've been doing radio for a lot of years. Anybody that thinks that I listened to another podcast and went, that's what I'm going to do. Like, don't you know me well enough after all these years to think that I would just hear another podcast and go, let me do that? I like Brian. I think he's a funny comic. I don't know him that well. We've hung out over the years, and, he's a great guy and funny. Brendan, I don't know. I think I've met him once or twice, but I hear he's very good. But I've never heard an episode of their podcast. Not once. I haven't avoided it because I think it stinks. I just have never heard it. I don't listen to podcasts. So, in order for something to be a ripoff, you probably have to hear it and have some experience. So I get that they have really good fans, like people who love their podcast and are protective of their podcast. And I respect the fact that you have fans like that. Good. But to think that Matt and I got a call from Dana and he asked me if I wanted to do it. I said yes. But to think that we somehow conspired, don't forget Luis Gomez does one. And maybe I talked about this with Luis Gomez and Michael Bisping or something. They have a good podcast. I've done that one once. So, look, there's room for everybody. I don't hide from other shows. Don't mention the name, Fighter and the Kid, Brian Callen, Brendan Schaub. I've heard it's a really good podcast. Download it and listen to it. If you want to do the same with UFC Unfiltered, fucking knock yourself out. Luis Gomez and Michael Bisping, listen to their show. It's on Sirius XM. There's a lot of fucking shows. And when people fans begin getting so territorial, like years ago, you couldn't like Opie and Anthony and how, I don't give a fuck what people listen to. Listen to all of us. There's a lot I'm not that insecure. I don't think that there's only room for Jim Norton. By the way, Michael Bisping, this is my favorite part of doing Luis Gomez's and Michael Bisping's podcast. Now, I like Luis very much, but I got to talk to Michael Bisping for an hour, and what a fucking awesome dude he is. Being out there, I get to hang out with him a little because I sat with him during one of the nights, the whole nights of the first night, the Thursday night Fight Pass fights. I'm sorry, that was Fight Night with Dos Anjos and Eddie Alvarez. And we talked and we joked the whole time. He is awesome. So good luck to him in his next fight. I guess it's against Luke Rockhold. I'm not sure. Who I also got to talk to and who's a great guy. It's really weird when you talk to these people how it's really hard to root against them. They're all fucking nice. Because they all know Matt Serra with his fucking grovelly, they fucking everyone loves that little bastard. Matt is one of the most popular guys in UFC. So he introduces me to everybody. He's just really a nice man. So, it was nice talking to Michael Bisping. Sorry about that. I've been babbling, and there's a lot of advice people need. Hello, Casey. What's going on?
James.
Hey,
I called a few weeks ago about a cuckold situation.
Okay.
We took one minor, small step. Went to an adult bookstore that had a theater. And in the theater was a gentleman who was rapidly moving his hands up near his fly. And we had a good time. We didn't interact with each other. Her and I just watched him, and he watched us, and it was one small step, but we're working our way towards the cuckold all the way.
Well, that's awesome. That's great that you tried it like that. And it's good to, again, little baby steps, because you always want to go to a place you can come back from. You always want to go somewhere that you can come back from. You know what I'm saying? So you always want to do that. Okay? That's fantastic. Good for you, buddy. I'm happy to hear it.
Thank you. Hey, have a great day, Jimmy.
Okay, be good. John in Virginia. Hi, John.
Hang up this time. Hey, I'm a little nervous, so don't be.
Well, you should be. When speaking to a celebrity of my magnitude, people should be frightened and worried. Hello, buddy. I'm kidding, of course. I'm a nothing.
But thank you. You responded to my email. That was cool. I appreciate that. I forgot what I said, but but you responded to it.
Oh, I'm a good boy.
But my question is, what do you, how can I ask this? About the past, I guess you get tired of talking about the past, kind of like Opie and Anthony and all that, the stuff, the past, kind of 10 years ago when people call up.
You mean, does it bother me when people reference the show and the way it was?
Yes, exactly.
Not at all. No, that show changed my life. It's something I feel. I listen to that stuff, dude. I go back and I do once in a while listen to a bit here and there. Those Jim Norton laugh compilations, because it's all stuff that's made me laugh over the years. I love listening to that stuff. It's hard for me to listen to something with Patrice because he makes me cry. After I can listen to his voice, but I can't listen to him too much because it's too upsetting. Otto the same way. But no, I never get tired of that, dude. I love the fact. It hurts me a little bit that the fans, hate us now and have been kind of fractured and don't instead of looking at it like, look, man, this was a volatile situation that probably, if life was fair, the Opie and Anthony show never would have made it out of 2005. As fucking crazy and different as we all were. And we went all those years and then the whole thing crumbles and people kind of hate us. So I kind of wish they didn't, but hey, look, I figure I was really funny for a really long time, and I was on a really funny show, and I still try to be funny. So, people who've turned against me and now hate me, look, what do you want me to tell you? Fuck you. Sorry I disappointed you so much. Okay, what do you want me to tell you? But no, I never get bothered by people mentioning it. Never, ever.
Hey, when are you going to be in D.C. anytime soon? I think you already came, but I missed it.
No, I did not come to D.C. yet. We had a venue availability problem, and we're still working on that, but we are looking at some time in October. I should be announcing that hopefully soon, okay?
My birthday month. All right, sounds good.
Okay, cool.
Have a good summer.
All right, buddy, thank you. That's why we're going there, because it is his birthday month. I wanted to get down there. Hello, Marty in Orlando. How are you?
Man, how you doing today?
How are you?
Hey, good. Hey, I saw you in Orlando. Great show. Appreciate it. It was fun. Hey, 2 quick questions. Do you remember that show at all? There was one specific guy that stood up or shouted out that said one specific time, date, and then he left the room when you tried to come back to him. Do you remember that at all?
Yes, I do. That was a weird one. I was on stage doing something, and some guy yelled something. I was coming to a punchline. And he heckled me, but he wasn't heckling to fuck me up. He was heckling. I guess he was a guy I went to North Brunswick High School with, and I don't remember his name off the bat, but I recognized it when I heard it. I believe, again, when you're performing, it's always a weird thing. Like, you don't think the exact same way you think now because you're talking to, a couple hundred people, a few hundred people at a time. Your focus is that you're scanning a room. It's a little different. So I joked with him about having bad timing and yelling right there and being too specific. But I wasn't mad at the guy. I just got to the punchline or whatever it was I wanted to get to. And I wanted to come back with him after and then talk about what he wanted to talk about. Like, I was actually interested in him about, some of the people. Like, I was actually going to talk about North Brunswick with this guy. But, again, I have a job to do while I'm up there, too. So I wasn't pissed off at him. I guess he left, and I'm like, geez, I hope I didn't piss the guy off. But someone said, no, he had a babysitting issue or whatever, so.
Yeah, but no, it was just weird the way it came out. All of a sudden, like you said, you came back to him, and he was gone. But just want to say, big fan, appreciate you coming.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye, Marty. Chris in Allentown, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Jimmy, how are you?
Great, how are you?
Great. So I was wondering that my fiance and I have sex regularly, but I can't really get over the feel of that I'm not really pleasing her.
Does she come?
Yes, she does occasionally, but we've come together at the same time, but I don't know, it just kind of feels to me that I'm not really satisfying her needs, kind of like a self-esteem type of issue.
Yeah, I get the same thing, dude. Have you talked to her about it?
Yeah, she knows about it, and I don't know, she always yells at me kind of like that I do satisfy her and everything, but I guess I don't know how to really get over that in my own head.
Well, you have to realize that sometimes people don't come because we're not doing the right thing, and other times they don't come because their head isn't in the right place. So you're not responsible for everything. You're not responsible for every bit of, she's responsible for a bit of her own pleasure too. So if you're willing to lick her pussy and do what she likes and she's not coming, well, maybe her head's not in the right place at the moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I gotcha.
But all you can do is talk to her, dude. The low self-esteem is we're giving ourselves messages that usually other people don't agree with anyway. So all you can do is ask her, and she's your wife. You're supposed to trust each other. So if she's telling you like, no, it's not that, then it's probably not that.
Gotcha.
Just enjoy the sex. It's not a performance.
Well, sometimes I feel like it should be that you should satisfy your partner, and I guess maybe that self-esteem part would kind of help out in the bed, because then I want to try harder to make her orgasm. But
well, that's also ego. That's not generosity. That's ego, and there's a difference. Because deep down, you're not worried about her coming. You're worried about you looking good from her coming. Now, we all want our partner to come, but let's be honest. If a girl said, look, I don't want to come. I just want you to put your dick in and immediately jump off. There's not a guy alive that wouldn't sign up for that. But we know that women want to come, and we want to do that. But it is a turn on, but it's an ego-feeding proposition. So just recognize your ego is bruised. That's all it is. It's an ego bruise. And how do you fix the ego bruise? Maybe just listen to what she's telling you. She's having a good time, and part of it might be on her as well.
Gotcha. All right. Thanks, Jimmy.
Goodbye. Hi, Lisa in Ohio.
Yeah, I am a really big fan girl, and I'm sorry I don't have a sex question this time.
Oh, it's okay. Good.
This is truly an advice about you question. I'm very excited to come to your show in Columbus at the Capitol Theater. It'll be my first show, and I've been a fan since the old days in the 90s.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's a big deal for me. I have a second ticket, and of course I asked my husband, my partner, to come to it. He's a little scared because he knows my sense of humor is much raunchier, much more off-color. He's pretty straight-laced. Okay. And I don't know how to either prepare him for this or just give the ticket to somebody who understands. How would you prepare for your show, really? Somebody who doesn't get it.
How about you go on my website? Not that I would suggest going there just to buy Contextually Inadequate. But you can download it for a few bucks and then have them watch it and say, this is the type of an act this guy does.
That's a fantastic idea. See? I needed you. Thank you.
All right. Enjoy yourself. Thank you for coming. I'll be there next Thursday.
To see. Thank you so much.
A week from tomorrow. Thank you so much. What's up, John in Chicago?
Hi, Jim. I'm a little bit nervous, so please forgive me if anything. I have a little problem with my penis. I have a pube that grows right in the middle of my pee hole, and I can't pull it out because it hurts. But I'm about to have a girlfriend here, and I'm just trying to figure out what I should do. I don't have insurance. I don't get good money, and can't really see a doctor right now, so I don't know. I mean, I've trimmed it before, but it just keeps coming back.
Wow, I've never heard of that, but I guess it's a dick and there's hair. Have you taken the tweezers and just fucking said, fuck it, I got to do it?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was kind of like an ingrown hair type thing, but if I pull on it, I mean, it feels like I'm going to rip the inside of my cock, like just inside out. I mean, it kind of looks like Richard Petty, like a Richard Petty whisker mustache.
Well, you got to get to a doctor then.
But I don't, that's the thing. I just don't have the money, and I don't know. And I got this girl that we're coming along and trying to figure things out here.
Yeah, I would say go to a doctor if you can.
Do you have any recommendations?
No. I don't know anything about that. You got hair in your dick. Go to a doctor.
Maybe Dr. Baba Booey?
Oh, my God. Did he hang up? Are you there?
Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Baba Booey.
Yeah? Why did he hang up? I didn't hang up on him. Ugh. I don't even know what to do with that. Was that like, I don't even know where to go with that. Baba Booey, Baba Booey? Yeah, I'll say hi to him tomorrow morning when I see him. Oh, boy, let's see. How about Mike in Hartford? What's up, Mike? How are you?
Hey, Jim, how you doing?
Good.
Yeah, and this is, you called me a fanboy. I saw you at Southern Connecticut State University, and the problem I have with you is when I did the tap, tap, tap all over my father's grave, and then said that I jumped up and I sang Thriller, you called me a liar. And I'll send you the DVD, and I bet you $1,000 I'm not a fucking liar, you faggot.
Oh, it's the same guy. Just get his number and see if he calls back. You're just a creep. You were nice when I met you.
I hope you get cancer of your mouth.
Oh, stop. Stop being such a... You're not good at hurting someone's feelings. Stop.
All right. Tell me...
I didn't hear you, dude. Your phone is cutting out. Not only are you an awful caller, you have bad phone service. If you're going to try to insult me, get Verizon. Lou, is he there? He dropped. Okay. Hold on. My computer. Oh, that guy's the worst. See if we can get his number and just block it, because he really is annoying. He used to be a good caller, and I remember him. He was nice when I met him, but then he just kind of turned into a little cunt. He's the guy that called in. I remember that guy. He's just like one of these obsessed people who just won't admit that he's wrong, and he probably sits alone in his apartment and his asshole smells. But after the Amy Schumer interview, he called up, little dirty mouth, wah, Jim, he thought that I edited his call out, this fucking jerk off. And he called up, instead of just calling up and going, hey man, did you edit my call? Like, what, am I going to lie to you? Which of course I did not at all. And then he heard the replay, and I'm like, you're going to call back and apologize. And he called back and apologized because you called me a fucking cunt. And then he realized he was wrong. So I'm sure you're still listening, and you're just shitty. You call me a faggot? Like, 'cause I like dicks? Shut up. Ooh, good one. Is my mother so poor she can't pay attention? Fucking home run. All right. Chris in New York. Hi, Chris. How are you?
Hi, Jim. How you doing?
Good.
Basically, I've got slack and advice for business. Last year, I won a very big contract with a company. And the contract was so big, I could have retired from that deal. I had some people working for me. We started to work. 1 month, they call me in. They say, hey, this is a new project manager. And so I was like, okay, let's see what's going on. So I went to the office, and apparently this new project manager knows nothing about this contract. And he said, you don't have a contract. You have to pitch again. Like with corporations, you have to pitch your services.
Yeah.
So basically that's what happened. And now it's like, I don't have it in me to start again. I lost this deal with, I don't want to say how much, but could have, kind of put me on the way to retirement, and I'm only in my 30s.
Okay.
But now I have no motivation, to just, get up again every day and start it again, because I don't have that energy, that drive. It's like, it's not meant to be. I've tried so many things, and the only thing that worked out for me in life, this deal, and it fucked me up,
Let me ask you a question. I know it's a huge setback, and it feels like a horrible thing. And when I was on Opie and Anthony in 2000 and 2001, I started getting a fan base. And people were coming out to see me. I was, doing the Orpheum in Boston, the Tower Theater. And then after a couple of years, we do Sex for Sam, and the whole thing is taken away. And I feel like after all of these years, and by then I was in the business about 12 years, it was just removed. The rug was pulled out from under me, and I didn't know what to do. I wanted to kill myself. I wanted to jump out my window. I'm like, I'm a failure. This was proof of everything bad I ever thought. But it was one of those things that in a job or in life, there's setbacks. And you can't take a setback at work and go, oh my God, my entire career is shit. Do you know what I'm saying? If you've lost every client you ever got, but if you lose one once in a while, isn't that a part of the job somehow?
I mean, yeah, but for me, my business is dependent on these, clients. I had a few shitty clients that were paying me I don't know, $1,000 a month, you know, and then that wasn't really, you know, why I set out at the beginning when I started the business, right? So when I got this contract, it was like just one contract, just one client, just off one client, one big deal. I could have, you know, invested in property and just, you know, lived a nice, cushy life. And it was just taken out, you know, just out of nowhere. And, you know, I've applied for jobs before and, you know, I've had a career. And now I just have no motivation to even, you know, I have two decisions, either go back and being employed or going back to my, you know, my business, which is, you know, my dream is, you know, to have my own business. And I've started some businesses that, you know, made some money, but they've always, you know, ended up in failure for somehow.
What did you, let me ask you, is there anything you can learn from having lost this client that you might have done better a little earlier on?
Yeah, not to be so honest with people and, you know, should have had a contract. You know, we had a verbal agreement and, you know, they made the first payment and then I took the first payment and, you know, I paid it to my guys who started to work and then they asked for that payment back and like an asshole, I had to pay it back because I didn't have the, you know, the lawyers or whatever. I had no contract essentially.
So you're an honest guy, you're a good guy, and you got a little bit of a bite on the ass in business because you try to be the regular guy that you are instead of realizing that business can be a little scummy. Mm-hmm. So instead of going, I don't know what to do, I have no motivation, your motivation should be, okay, this is what happens when you're in business. People will fuck you sometimes. Now, at least this was the first payment and you weren't 8 months into a job or a year into it. You know what I'm saying? Like, now you'll learn. Next time, you'll do it differently. So your motivation should be, you got kicked in the dick and thank God it was one that you can recover from. It's a big client, but there's other big clients out there, and big clients, because they're lawyer based and they mostly have no humanity, can be cunts. So don't kick yourself any harder over it. Fucking feel bad, you soak your wounds a little and fucking learn from it. But don't give up, dude. It's stupid to give up. Okay? You're already starting your dream. When there's a setback in your dream, you don't just fucking run away and go back. You just keep moving forward. Now, if this happens to every client you get and you stink at it, well, then you can reevaluate it. But right now, that's not what's happening.
Right. And I mean, I don't want to give up. I mean, that's why I'm still finding an answer. But how do you motivate yourself? Like, you know, I get these motivations, especially like at night, you know, when you're sleeping and you think, oh, tomorrow I'm going to wake up. But when morning comes, it's like you get that sick stomach feeling and you just don't want to do it, you know, like, so how do you motivate yourself? Like, you know, I can watch a Tony Robbins speech and get inspired or, you know, Rocky or whatever. But then when it comes, like, how do you inspire yourself when you're feeling so, like, rock bottom? Like, what do you do?
You know, it's funny.
Is there a trick?
It's funny, man. The trick would be to act. I always heard the advice, act as if. Now, I don't mean be fake. But if things aren't going well in business, make yourself act as if they are going well. And again, that doesn't mean ignore the problems, but take the right action. You know, the old expression, bring the body and the mind will follow. You have to physically do the action. You know, I don't think my way into healthy acting. I kind of act my way into healthy thinking. And it's always been that way for me. Like, I never sit home and then all of a sudden I'm in the right headspace to take on this challenge and go and do it. I'm a fraidy cat. I'm fucking lazy. What I have to do, like, you ever feel like, oh God, I can't wait to work out, and then you go? No. You're like, fuck this shit. I don't want to go to the gym, but I make myself go. And then when the workout's finishing, I'm like, man, am I glad I went. I feel good now. Taking the action first, it works. You know, you don't think yourself into good shape. You have to take the action first. So fuck your motivation in the morning. Do it in spite. Don't wait for motivation. Do it in spite of not having the motivation. Act as if you have the motivation. Say, fuck it. I feel like a piece of garbage. I want to crawl back under my sheet right now and smell my own farts and feel sorry for myself. But I'm going to act like I don't feel that way. I'm going to plow forward and go out and remedy what I can remedy and get a new client or whatever the fuck it is you got to do. Or maybe you just wave your dick at a stranger. I don't know what makes you happy, but just get out there and fucking begin doing that stuff. And that is how you'll feel better once you start to see physical results. But you got to take the action first, okay?
All right. I appreciate all the
Okay, thank you. Good luck, man, but don't give up. Just keep pushing forward, okay?
Thanks for the advice, Jim. Take care, man.
All right, Kyle. I got 1 minute left. Joni in Iowa. Hi, Joni. Sorry to keep you on so long. How are you?
Hi, Jim. How are you?
Good. How's Chachi? You heard
I
what I
just want to
said?
let you know I love your show. I find it very irreverent, and you make me laugh. And my time in the truck passes by a lot more quickly when I listen to you all day. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you so much. What'd you
And
want?
my question is my mental state. I am a huge animal lover, and I would just as soon kill a person as I would an animal. I don't think that's normal. I think I'm a little crazy, and I've contemplated seeing a psychiatrist or somebody, and I just wanted to know what you have to say about that.
Well, it all depends on how close to killing something you are. A lot of people feel more of a bond with animals because they love the innocence, and animals have never hurt you. Like maybe there's somebody in your past that damaged you. I don't know. Maybe you have a fucking uncle that was creepy or a boyfriend that cheated on you. Or
I have lots of creepy ex-boyfriends,
well,
believe
there
me.
you go. Anyone who's ever damaged you has been a person. Animals are innocent and you can protect them and they love you back. There's an unconditional love with animals. But as far as wanting to hurt people over animals, you've never had that presented to you. So, we all say that. But when you see a pleading, helping child, you may think of it differently. Picture a baby. You would save a kitten over a baby. Maybe you wouldn't. Maybe you think you would, but you wouldn't. But, maybe your dislike of people or your lack of trust of people, maybe that's why you want to see a psychiatrist if you feel like that's a problem.
Yeah, sometimes people are very untrustworthy, and I have found out through experience that they'll stick you in the back and then they'll twist the knife when they're done. And I just have very little time for very few of them. And when I'm home from driving the truck, I'll sit in my house with my 13 cats and my 2 dogs, and I am fine.
Okay, well, I have to run, Joni, I have to run, love, but thank you so much. And just, if you think I don't think you're crazy. Maybe you just isolate a little bit and you want to just kind of connect with people a bit more. I don't think you're crazy, though, okay?
Okay, have a good day, Jim. Thanks.
You too. And before we wrap up, just a quick rundown. I'll just read off the list. I don't have time for the calls, guys. I apologize. I'll get a couple of you. Jimmy in Kansas, the question about drug addiction. Jimmy, please call back next week. I didn't see you. Johnny in Dallas, been revolving with 4 chicks over the last years. One of them gave me herpes, need advice on how to address. First of all, applause. Instead of getting advice, you should be giving advice how you pull off fucking 4 chicks at the same time. My suggestion would be you got to talk to all of them. It's probably, it's not going to be easy, and it's a difficult conversation, but have the conversation. Don't avoid it, because fuck it. The worst they can say is, we're not fucking you. I was in my cab before, Mr. Ferrari. Thank you very much, and for liking what I do. And Joey, been doing comedy 3 years. How can you break out of the open mic scene? Try to get other comedians. Hopefully you drive. Try to get other comedians to book you on gigs. But other comedians are usually the best. Make sure you have material uploaded to the internet so bookers can go see it, like on YouTube. Bye, guys. Thank you so much. And I'm babbling. Goodbye.
Thanks for listening to The Jim Norton Show. Hear all that advice whenever you want to on demand at SiriusXM.com/on demand. On SiriusXM is real.